Anyway, it's 7:45.
Is it time to eat?
Yeah. Welcome to our Golden Speakers Toastmasters meeting. It is July 21st at 7:45. I'm your president, Aaron Russell. We are here, our club mission, as we've spoken many times, is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, which result in greater self-confidence and personal growth. We have a guest. We have a guest speaker, actually, at tonight's meeting. Corey, do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Or I could introduce him.
Okay.
I mean, otherwise he just sounds like he's bragging.
Oh.
So I want to brag for him. So Corey, as I mentioned in my email, is a distinguished Toastmaster, a couple times over, I think. Corey, I don't
just
know.
Once. Just once.
Okay. Yet. Okay. Well, he's a prolific speech crafter and giver. He's a longtime Toastmaster in the district, in District 19. He's won numerous contests at the district level, all 4 types of contests that we've had there. He has been a district champion. He also has been a valuable support and member of the Conscious Communicators Club at the Iowa State Penitentiary, which I've been involved with, and he's been just really great there. The guys really like him. So I'm just very pleased. I mentioned he belongs in 6 clubs. I got that earlier today, and he is highly service oriented. He's always looking for ways to improve the district as a whole and contribute. So it's really great that he is here with us tonight, and we hope it'll be the first of many visits when he can pop in around all his other clubs and activities.
Awesome.
Thank you. I wish I knew that guy. He's impressive.
All right. Well, thank you, Jean, for the introduction, and thank you, Corey, for being here tonight and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Well, let's get right along with our meeting proper. Our Toastmaster for tonight is Carmen, who I will pass it on to do the role players. Take it away, Carmen.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are having a quote from Barack Obama tonight. It says, "The future rewards those who press on." I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. Really nice quote. I would like to introduce the role players for today. Our timer is Bob Fogley. Let's welcome Bob.
Thank you, Carmen. This evening I'm the timers, and for table topics, you qualify as 1 minute, and when I show that will be the green. And that yellow will be 1 minute, 30 seconds. It'll look like that. And at 2 minutes will be the red. And you can continue on for another 30 seconds before you disqualify. For the evaluation, again, it'll be 1 minute, 30 seconds will be the green. Or are we doing, yeah, for 2 minutes, I'm sorry. 2 minute is the green. 2 minute, 30 seconds is the yellow. And 3 minutes is the red. And you can go on for another 30 seconds, at which time you'll be disqualified at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Prepared speech. So, Corey, your prepared speech is between 4 minutes?
Oh.
No?
5.
5?
5 to 7.
5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay. So green at 5 minutes. Yellow at 6 minutes. And of course, 7 minutes would be the red, and at which time you have 30 seconds to complete your speech this evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bob. I'm gonna be the grammarian for today. As a grammarian, my responsibility is to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. And also, I will take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. I also have the word of the day, which is thematic, and which means relating to or constituting a topic of discourse. An example of that is, ideally, this will eventually culminate in the running of a conference or thematic workshops. I encourage everyone to use today's word, and I will give my report at the end of the meeting.
Carmen, I have a question.
Yes.
Would you be able to submit the word of the day to the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, sure,
The word and the definition, please.
sure.
Thank you.
And also, I just want to introduce our accountant, Art. Take it away, Art.
Yes, fellow Toastmasters. In my role as tonight's counter, I will be listening for what we call filler words, sounds, or words that are used to fill space, usually because of nervousness over leaving an empty silence. They're a crutch which we work to disband, to dismiss out of our speech habit. Typical filler words I will listen for are and used to connect run-on sentences, but, so, well, and personal favorites that some of you may have, different from that standard list, I will also listen for and report briefly at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Today, our general evaluator is Aaron. We are going to chat with him later on. And our joke master is Bob. Our evaluator is Rick. And he is going to read the objective for today's speech. Let's welcome Rick Starr.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Our speaker is Corey May. And Corey May is giving a speech on understanding your leadership style. The purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. And also the purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. Corey's speech is entitled Growing into My Leadership Stature, and it's 5 to 7 minutes long.
Thank you. Today's speaker is Corey. Toastmaster is where leaders are made. We join to become better communicators and leaders. Leaders are effective communicators. They lead by example. They are optimistic. They are open-minded. and they demonstrate integrity. Today, Corey May, DTM, will deliver his first speech in level 2 of the visionary communication, growing into my leadership stature. Let's welcome Corey May.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Honored guests, fellow Toastmasters. When I was a child, the common question that I was asked was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my answer was always pretty simple: bigger. I wanted to be bigger because size matters. Now that I am all grown up, I am 6'4", and I weigh around 200 and some odd pounds. Whenever I walk into a room, it feels as though the mantle of leadership is always conferred upon me because I am a bigger person. Because size matters, I feel that it is incumbent upon me to grow into my leadership stature. And this is, I guess, part of the thematic structure of this speech, wherein I will discuss why the physical size is important, but what is more important is our leadership stature. For example, I have no control over my physical stature. It was something that I was born with, but I can effect my leadership stature. I can grow into it. And because Toastmasters gives us the ample opportunity to exercise our opportunities, I can grow into the leader that is often projected onto me. We have seen over the last 20 years small leadership as well as large leadership. Large leadership indeed is effective communicating. Large leadership is grace under fire, showing how to behave in tough circumstances. Leadership is also providing a vision for the future and addressing honestly what is going on in the present. Leadership has an open mind and a willingness to discuss. And above all things, leadership demonstrates integrity. When I took the questionnaire today, I balked because there are leadership ideals, and I am 6'4", it felt like they were 6'4½", just a little bit out of reach. And because they were out of reach, it made me feel like I needed to be bigger. I took the exam, the assessment, and the assessment told me that my leadership style is democratic, meaning that I seek out consensus and I try to pull everyone together, hearing a variety of viewpoints and trying to find the common ground. Here's a tip. I wasn't the middle child and I wasn't the peacemaker. I was the baby of the family. And to find myself seeking consensus strikes me as a little odd because everyone thinks that the youngest child always gets their way. No. With strong personalities, we have to find consensus. At the opposite end of the spectrum for me was the bureaucrat, the one who brings the hammer and says, this is how it's going to be, and it is my way or the highway. That's my lowest score. Everything else was bunched up within 2 or 3 points of that consensus-making democratic leadership style. But I imagine as I search out leadership opportunities, there may be times when I have to practice that bureaucratic style. That is not something that I am particularly comfortable with. And that may be that point where I need to be bigger as a leader. Seeking out consensus, finding ways to coach fellow members along the way, seeking out opportunities to lift other people up and ensure that the voice of the minority, the people who don't have the same viewpoint as mine, get heard, is what I think is vital. This is an opportunity for me to stretch into a new standpoint, a new vision with regard to leadership. Leadership is a term that's easily bandied about, thrown around commonly day after day. And if you go to Barnes & Noble or any other bookstore, there's a whole section on leadership. But we have to do the work in order to become those fully realized leaders. We have to do the work in order to grow into that leadership stature. And that's what I'm doing today, embarking on a journey to become bigger, to accept the mantle of responsibility and leadership that's going to take me to my next growth point. What do I want to be tomorrow? Here's the truth, people. I want to be bigger. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Corey, for that great speech. We have 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. All right.
All right, that was 2 minutes.
Thank you, Bob. Is the general evaluator Aaron? Are you ready to evaluate Corey? Well, no, I'm sorry. Oh, Rick, I'm sorry. Rick, are you ready to evaluate Corey?
I am. Do we turn it over to the general evaluator at this point?
Yes, we do. So I guess for formality's sake, Carmen can pass off the meeting to me.
Okay, go ahead, Aaron.
Thank you, Carmen, Madam
Okay.
Toastmaster. To evaluate Corey's speech for tonight, I would like to introduce Rick Starr as his evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially to Corey. I've heard Corey speak several times, and he always gives outstanding speeches. This also was an outstanding speech. Corey has a very warm conversational style. I've heard him give speeches on rather intense subjects, and even then he has a good conversational style. Corey uses vocal variety very well and very naturally. And even sitting down, he was able to use hand gestures. Corey also makes good use of silences and pauses. He pauses between sentences. He pauses between sections of his speech. And that's very useful in keeping people's attention. Corey's speech started with the theme of size. He talked about his physical size and as opposed to the size of leadership. During the speech, he also talked about size, and he wrapped up the speech, again, referring to size of leadership. And I thought that was very effective and very good. Corey also described different aspects of leadership, including coaching and lifting other people up. To me, that's the essence of leadership, is lifting your team up, making everybody feel involved. And I think that was an excellent, excellent part of the speech. Corey uses personal stories. This was about himself and his own leadership style. He uses personal stories and anecdotes very effectively. If there were one thing I could suggest to Corey, and that would be to use a little more humor in the speech. I know it wasn't intended to be a humor speech, but you did it in the beginning when you talked about size matters, when you talked about being the youngest child in the family, how it wasn't all it was cooked up to be. But I think if you had sprinkled a little more humor through the speech, it would have made it a little more effective in keeping people's attention. Mr. General Evaluator.
Aaron's frozen. Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and pinch hit for Aaron while he's working with that. And our next phase, our next section is table topics. And our table topics master is Dan Craig for the evening. Let's go ahead and welcome Dan.
Thank you, Jean, fellow Toastmasters. The theme of our meeting tonight is commitment. You could say that the thematic subject is commitment. I have 5 or 6 questions related to that theme. And as you know, we like to have people volunteer. And then I'll give you the question and you have 1 to 2 minutes to speak without preparation to deliver your table topic. Could I have a volunteer, please? Rick. Very good. I have 6 items you could choose from. Why don't you pick a number?
Could you tell me what the questions are before I pick?
No, I couldn't.
No. No.
It would make it easier. Okay, I'll pick number 3, right in the middle.
All right. Let me read a bit of a quote to you. It's, "Commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. Commitment is the stuff character is made of, the power to change the face of things. It is the daily triumph of integrity over skepticism." Now, you might be interested to know that this is not a quote by Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn. It's a quote by Abraham Lincoln.
Uh-huh.
My question for you, Rick, is, are you surprised that this historical figure talked in these terms? How do you think his philosophy of commitment fueled his accomplishments?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Another definition I heard of commitment is about a ham and egg sandwich. The chicken is interested, but the pig is committed. It doesn't surprise me at all that Abraham Lincoln should have a philosophy of commitment, and this should have guided his life. To me, he's one of the great figures in American history and world history. He was president at perhaps the most difficult time in this nation's history, and he had to walk a fine line between holding the country together and bringing justice to all peoples, particularly to Black people. And this wasn't an easy thing to do. It was very politically tricky for him. But he always had a vision, and he was committed to the goal. And through a lot of subtle actions, he was able to accomplish his goal. So I think his definition of commitment and how that led his life is very appropriate.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, thanks, Rick, for getting us rolling. Now we need our next eager volunteer. Where are you? Art. I think you're muted, Art, so let's take care of that. All right. We've used number 3. I've got 1, 2, or 4
1
through 6.
1.
All right. Describe a time in your life when you accomplished a task by persevering in the face of difficulties. Describe a time in your life when you accomplished a task by persevering in the face of difficulties.
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. It's a pleasure to answer this question because what comes to my mind is the time in 7th grade when I joined the 7th grade band class to get away from being an accordion player and to get a band instrument. And was instructed by my father to choose something small and portable like a flute or a clarinet. And what I got instead, what was assigned to me, was an unusual instrument some of you may know called a bassoon, which was in a much bigger case. And I started playing this instrument without any instructor. And I taught myself for a year to play the instrument, and then ran aground against the fact that I didn't teach myself properly, and I had to begin again all over from the start with an instructor who taught me how to properly play the instrument. I persevered through the unpleasant process of giving up my old habit to adopt a newer, more effective habit, and it served me well. I ended up playing that instrument for years and years. In fact, my hands still know how to finger the instrument. And I had probably some of the best experiences of my young life with that instrument in hand. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Art. Who's next, please? Bob, you need to unmute.
There, how's
I'm
that?
sort of a broken record. I have, Bob, question 2 or 4, 5, or 6.
I would like to go number 6 because I'm sure that's probably the best one.
Yeah, that's where I ran out of gas.
Oh, dang. I thought you were just getting wound up there, Dan. So who would like to time me?
Looks like Jean is willing.
The thing is, I'm the table topics evaluator, so it's a little harder. You'll probably get extra time with me because I'll get distracted. And
Well,
Aaron
there's an
is,
advantage.
Corey will do
Corey's
it.
going to do it.
Corey's doing it. Okay, great.
Very good.
But
Here's your
what-
question, Bob.
I have a question for Corey. How will I know? Will he hold his 1 or 1.5 or how 2 or how will I know?
Ah, he's got the app.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready, Dan.
All right. Bob, you can find many quotes from those who advise that we should never give up in trying to accomplish a goal to which we have committed. But do you think there are times when it becomes realistic to abandon a goal rather than continue to pursue it? Please explain.
Thank you, Dan, for that question. Commitment. I've spent many years not committing to do anything. As I spoke in the past, sometimes I like to fly by the seat of my pants, and I just like what's before me. I live for the thrill of the moment a lot of the times. And by living for the thrill of the moment has made me uncommitted, because it's more exciting to do something new, and I love that excitement. And so, in commitment, it gets kind of boring or dull or whatever. But that being said, in my business, I've had many a times to throw in the towel. Guys all quit on me, so I'm standing there and I can't do anything because I'm just all by myself. Broken relationships, things of that nature. Financial problems, running a business, as you can well imagine. Those are all challenges to my commitment. And I have to continue to struggle. Even, it's funny that you asked this question this evening, Dan, because today, driving home, when everything is not going properly on my jobs and my customers aren't the happiest for whatever reason because of the guys that work with me, I ask myself, should I stay committed or should I go look to do something different? But at my age and my thoughts and my feelings, I push them aside and remember I am committed to my excellence, to me, and to where I'm going, and to my business, for which I will continue on and probably never stop at any time that I see. I'll be the old guy you see out there at 90 years old running a jackhammer, probably. So that will be me. Thank you. I'm a Toastmaster.
Okay, who else? Carmen. I can give you 2, 4, or 5.
5.
All right. I've got a quote from Sammy Davis Jr. Do you know who that is? He was a big entertainer in the 60s. You always have 2 choices, your commitment versus your fear. Would you explain what role fear might have in preventing a person from keeping their commitments? Do you need me to repeat?
Yes, please.
All right. Sammy Davis Jr. said, you always have 2 choices, your commitment versus your fear. And my question to you, would you explain what role fear might have in preventing a person from keeping their commitments?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Toastmasters. In my opinion, fear can prevent you for anything, but also can push you to do anything. Sometimes fear is just a sense that there is a challenge. Fear of the unknown, fear of what people should talk, or fear of any relationship that could make you possibly put you in trouble. But at the same time, when you realize that you have fear, you can overcome that one to just do it in action. Fear is usually a sense of judgment for me before you actually do something. So when you judge yourself as that you are not able to do something, you feel fear. The less you think about it, the better. But at the same time, do not overwhelm into fear, because that gives you like a piece of ice. Everything could have good and bad consequences. For me, it's like a 50-50. So if you have a positive thinking, that 50 becomes 55 or 60. So it overwhelms the negative side. It's better to do things with fear than do nothing.
Mhm.
And in my case, that's what I'm trying to do every single day when I fear about something small or bigger. Thank you for the question, Mr. Toastmaster.
Very good, Carmen. Looks like we've got Corey and Aaron left in the pool. Which one of you would like to take the leap? Aaron. 4 or 2?
2.
In your opinion, which is more important to accomplishing a goal? Unwavering dedication or flexibility in meeting challenges that arise? Please explain. In your opinion, which is more important to accomplishing a goal? Unwavering dedication or flexibility in meeting challenges that arise? And please explain. I have the feeling
It just froze.
he's overwhelmed by the profundity of the question. Corey, how would you like to take number 4?
I would be more than willing to.
All right, very good.
Okay.
I think that's the
Number
whole
4.
process of elimination.
What are some of the commitments that you have made in your life that you consider most important? What are some of the commitments that you have made in your life that you consider most important?
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master. This is a difficult yet quite easy question. When I was married, the commitment was to the family and providing for my children. That was not a negotiable thing. It meant that even though I didn't sometimes feel like I wanted to go to work, I was going to go to work anyway. Because nothing was more important than taking care of my family. At the same time, there were sacrifices made that I was not as close to my children as I perhaps could have been because I was working a lot. Once they became older, all of them are now over 18, the opportunity for me to commit was to creating adult relationships with my children, such that they saw Dad not as this guy who got up in the morning before they got to the bus and left and came back before they went to sleep, that there was a reason for those sacrifices. The other thing that I have found a deeper commitment to, especially now that I've crossed that 50 threshold, is a commitment to myself in terms of developing my skills and abilities to fully utilize whatever potential I've got. I believe it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that said, potential has a shelf life. And if we watch sports, we understand this guy has so much potential. When he comes in as a rookie, 15 years in, he still has a bunch of potential. Well, by 15 years in, we start to think that this is as good as it gets. Life, thankfully, is not sports. And as long as there's breath in my body, I'm believing that I can get closer to my potential. And that's one of the levels of my commitment, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Corey. I believe we have time for one last one. Let's see how Aaron's Connections treats him.
Yes, I apologize. I've already
all right.
requested to leave MediaCom. I think the company has a backlog of people that they're trying to fix. And
People leaving.
well, of the company that I'm switching to.
Okay. Well, best of luck.
And I'm hardwired, so there's not much else I can do.
Okay. Very good.
The same question, or
I think so. Well, unless you want another one. I had a supplementary question in case you want to challenge yourself.
I'll take the first question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You've been practicing. So
I
in
believe-
your opinion, which is more important to accomplishing a goal, unwavering dedication or flexibility in meeting challenges that arise?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Table Topics Master. In my opinion, unwavering dedication is much more important, because if you have that, you have the capability and the psychological capacity, mental capacity to be able to overcome, have the flexibility to be able to overcome any sort of challenges or wrenches that may be thrown your way on your way towards the goal that you're trying to accomplish. In my opinion, having your eyes on the prize, so to speak, and not unwavering in that regard is the most important thing to be able to accomplish your goals. There's so many instances where the plan that you think God has for you all of a sudden turns a completely different direction that you never would have expected. And being able to have the capability to be able to overcome whatever challenges may come is, in my opinion, the most important thing to be able to accomplish your goals and see it through to the end. So, in my opinion, that's much more important than having flexibility. Thank you very much for the question. All right, my wife just got home.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your flexibility in dealing with that issue. Mr. General Evaluator, can I go ahead and call for the timer to tell us who qualified so we can vote?
So you were asking me something?
I was just going to ask Bob to tell us who
Oh.
qualified so that we can vote.
Sure. Thanks, Dan. Yes, everyone qualified this evening on their table topics.
And we might as well name them, although we can see them.
Okay. Rick qualified, Art qualified, Carmen qualified, Corey qualified, and Aaron qualified.
Everybody's got the same last name.
Yes, they do. And
And Bob qualified.
Corey, did Bob qualify?
Bob did 2 minutes and 1 second.
Okay.
All right. So let's send our votes by chat to the Toastmaster Carmen. Okay, back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. At this time, I would like to call up our table topics evaluator for this evening, Jean Symington Craig.
Okay, so let me ask first. You guys were really good today, so I'm struggling on the suggestion side of things. There's probably no way I can have a little more time, huh? Because we're into the report section. I will go ahead. I will go ahead, but I just saying I was working, and I've got Dan, you're on mute.
Hey, how much time are you wanting, Jean?
I have 6. Oh, I wasn't talking about more time. I was just talking about time before you called me up so I could finish writing.
Oh.
That's what I meant.
Well, we can.
I hate not to have a suggestion.
How much more time, if we go through the reports and then right after the joke master, if we do it, would that be enough time?
Don't put me after the joke master. That's sort of a letdown. How about after the
awe counter?
Yeah.
I know you might save me on that, Jean. You might, although.
No, I don't want to follow you, Bob.
Okay. Then we will move on for now to our reports for this evening, starting off with our timers report given to us by Bob Fogel. Take it away, Bob.
Yeah. This evening, timers report is as follows. Corey, his time was 6 minutes, 32 seconds. Rick was 2 minutes, 56 seconds. Rick again on the topic speaker, for the table topic, was 1 minute, 31 seconds. Art was 1 minute, 51 seconds. Carmen was 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Corey was 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And Aaron, 1 minute and 28 seconds. And of course, myself, yours truly, was 2 minutes and 1 second. And good job, Aaron, following through. Yes.
Thank you.
You had that plan, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
That's
I purposely just pulled the cord right at the last minute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Now we'll move on to our grammarian for this evening, Carmen Antacona, to give her report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I didn't hear the word of the day, thematic.
Oh, you did.
You did?
Corey did.
Corey did. Somebody did. Corey
Oh,
did.
Corey,
And Dan
I'm
did.
sorry.
And Dan did.
Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So, all right. So Corey and then they use the word of the day, thematic. And for my quotes or thoughts, I was writing down 2 with Corey from the speech. He said, I can affect my leadership stature, and also leadership demonstrate integrity. From Bob, challenges to my commitment, I am committed to my excellence. From Corey, from the table topic speech, potential has a half-life. That's all for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen.
Aaron,
Yes.
we haven't voted for table topics, have we yet?
You're right. All right, table. Didn't we vote for
Yeah, we
this?
voted.
Yeah,
Did we vote?
Yeah.
Okay, I was out, but so where are we sending it? Maybe I'm the only one that's
To
confused.
Carmen, she's Toastmaster.
To Carmen, okay.
I think I sent my vote to everybody. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how I voted.
Are you feeling all the chill coming your direction? Okay, so to Carmen, thank you.
For some reason on my chat, I just have it on Corey's. I can't seem to get individual.
Hmm.
When you,
Does it still show a drop-down arrow next to his name?
Okay, it just came through. I apologize.
Okay.
I just,
Okay.
Now we will hear from our counter, Art Atkinson. Take it away, Art.
well, the O's were absent tonight, but the word and was the winner. Bob used and to join some sentences inappropriately. He used it twice. Rick used and twice. Carmen used and once, and so was used twice. Aaron, I heard one Jean, one and. Nothing from Dan, and I didn't evaluate myself. That's my report.
Me, I fettered. Thank you, Art. Jean, are you ready?
Yes, okay. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator and fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. Our theme tonight was commitment. And how much time? I have 6 people, so what should I be doing? 3 to 4?
That sounds right.
Okay. I'm going to run right through. I will start with Rick. Rick had the question about Abe Lincoln and the philosophy that he had. Rick had a great table topics. He starts right out with humor, with the chicken and the pig, about commitment. He used the actual word from the theme in his talk. He used committed to the goal. That's bonus points in my book. He had an opening and a conclusion that wrapped back to his opening. He summarized and he wrapped back up to and mentioned Abe Lincoln and the philosophy. So it was a very well done package. The only thing I would mention for Rick, it was just about perfect, would be because we're in Zoom world, because he was doing some compare and contrast and how Abraham Lincoln was in the middle of just this walking this tightrope. He could try to use his hands a little bit in the Zoom frame to emphasize some points. That's our latest approach to that. Art, he had the question about when did he accomplish a task by persevering, had a great personal story, escaping from the accordion by joining the band, the bassoon, the whole story there. He also used persevered in his answer, which again, that was in his question. So that really anchors his answer by using that word. I would say Art was just about perfect. I just couldn't get a suggestion if he was able to do any kind of movements with his hands, but really the story just stood on its own, and I appreciated that. Bob had the question about when is it realistic to abandon a goal? Sounds like Bob had a little bit of a rough day today. He was thinking about commitments anyway, so it's a good thing. And he talked about struggling to push on. My suggestion for Bob was he didn't quite answer the question. So he really came down more on the side of why you want to persevere and keep going, and it's important to be dedicated. But the question was, when is it realistic to let go of a goal? And it could be that you're trying to build a basement in a swamp and you just finally realize I'm dedicated, but this is not the right way to go. So something like that. So that's, again, a quick reminder to make sure you're listening to the questions and specifically addressing those. And then also he could also use a keyword from the question to help anchor his answer, like abandon would have been a good one. And you can always use that in the conclusion. You're wrapping it back up and your audience now knows where you're going and where you started. Carmen had the Sammy Davis question, role of fear versus that gets in the way of your commitments. Carmen was just hit the ball out of the park as far as I was concerned in terms of her table topics. She right away came up with a great compare and contrast. She addressed the question, fear can prevent you from getting your commitments accomplished, but it can also push you to move. So she took that whole question off in a completely different direction, which was actually just so satisfying and great feeling for the audience. And then she talked about fear and the judgment versus, and then her great closing line, it's better to act with fear than to do nothing. I loved her speech. I didn't get down to writing any suggestion. I thought it was very well done. Corey, and I've got Corey Aaron here because I kept chasing it. So, let's say Aaron. Aaron had the unwavering dedication question versus flexibility. He did answer the question, very interesting, saying that unwavering dedication is actually more fundamental to the whole process, because if you have unwavering dedication, you will make adjustments. So he kind of took it away from being either or to which is a more fundamental principle, which was a nice way to address that. The suggestion, I would say, let's see, to tell Maverick to wait to bark until you're done. That would be my suggestion there. And Corey, most important commitments. He did talk about early in life, young adult, taking care of his family, and then later in life, adult life. Corey's always smooth, always articulate, has pauses, great gravitas. My suggestion would be to Corey to have that conclusion wrap a little bit more back to the original question. Make sure you remind us where we started, and then possibly to have a conclusion that would be something along the line, because this is what I heard, commitments can change and evolve over lifetime. Important commitments can change over life and evolve, and what's key is knowing what they are at your given stage of life and addressing them, because that's what I saw the speech being about, was commitments then and then commitments now, and somehow just, we want to just wrap that up. So those are my comments on table topics tonight. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Evaluator. Now we'd like to hear from our joke master, Bob Fogel, to serenade us with a couple jokes.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, when I looked up my jokes for the night, I was trying to find something on commitment with men, but I just couldn't find anything that was available that would be shareable here on Toastmasters, so I abandoned that. Maybe that's why some of these guys are still single. But moving on from there, what did the green grape say to the purple grape? Breathe, man, breathe. What's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo? One is real heavy, and the other one's just a little lighter.
Ah, good.
Okay. Why is no one friends with Dracula? Because he's a pain in the neck.
Oh.
That's my jokes for this evening.
Thank you, Bob. Excellent. Now I'd like to take over as the general evaluator to talk about our two wonderful evaluators for this evening. Our speech evaluator, oh, what? Dan, do you have something to say?
Did we vote for evaluator?
Oh, shoot, yeah, I guess we need to do that. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Let's vote for best evaluator first.
Timers report.
Yes, my timers report for the evaluator was Jean. You were 5 minutes and 56 seconds.
Oh, so I was over.
Yep, sure. You were disqualified on that. And then Rick's evaluation was 2 minutes 56 seconds, and Carmen's was 1 minute and 14 seconds. So they both qualified. Is that right?
Was Carmen an evaluator?
Carmen must be the table topic.
At the end thing when she was talking, I know what, I'm sorry, when she was.
I think Rick was an evaluator.
Just Jean and Rick.
Yes.
Just Jean and Rick.
Okay. Then Rick was the only one that qualified.
Right.
All right. Well,
but I had good stuff, didn't I?
We'll give you an honorable mention.
You were on a roll.
Yeah.
All right. Then I will take over as general evaluator once again, talk about our two wonderful evaluators. Rick was our speech evaluator. He had a lot of enthusiasm in his evaluation. I like to say this, I could hear him smiling throughout the speech. The way that the tone of his voice, I could tell that he was very engaged and he really liked what he heard. And I think from all of our perspectives, especially Corey, who is being evaluated, it's nice when your evaluator kind of has that positive tint to their voice that just makes everything that they say just resonate, even when they're giving you improvement feedback. He started out with praise. He commented on what Corey did well with his hand gestures, vocal variety, and his use of personal stories. And he commented on how Corey used his size as kind of an anecdote, almost as like a theme for his overall speech on leadership styles. One thing that I would suggest for Rick is to try to use more specific comments when you're giving both positive and negative feedback. When you comment on his hand gestures, maybe pick one spot where you thought the hand gestures added a lot to the speech, or what personal story that Corey used really resonated with you well and added a lot to the speech. In my opinion, this does a good job of letting the speaker know more specifically, this was a moment that I really enjoyed, and that's good feedback for the speaker to know so that they can understand what particular moments of their speech were especially noticed and where they could improve. And Rick also, of course, gave a suggestion, said to use more humor. And this is one instance where I'd actually say that Rick did do a good job with specifics, because he commented on how Corey had humor at the beginning and the end, but maybe could have used a little bit more throughout the speech. And so he did, in that instance, have more specific feedback on the use of humor. Jean is our tabletops evaluator.
Oh, I have that effect on people. They freeze in fear.
Just assume it's all good, Jean.
Yeah. While we're waiting for him to come back.
Should we go ahead and do the awards?
Maybe we should do the awards.
Back to Carmen.
All right. All right. Our best speaker for tonight is Corey May. Yes, great speech.
Thank you very much. This was a better question than I got in an earlier table topics question that I had gotten at a different Toastmasters meeting. That one was also, this was much easier to answer.
Now, she's doing best speaker, I believe, Corey.
She was doing best table topics.
No, it's best speaker.
What did the ribbon say?
Oh, wow. I thought I was the only speaker. Well, I
You
guess
are, but you
right.
still,
And you were
you
the
still,
best.
you were the best.
That's right.
If
I didn't want to be the guy that came in second in a one-person speech conversation.
Oh, we always have a prize for every speaker. So
And if you had disqualified, even though you were the only speaker, you would not get the ribbon display.
Point.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. Our best evaluator is
No
Ray.
surprise. Woo!
Good job, Rick.
Thank you.
And we have a tight for best table topics.
No, you have to figure it out.
All right.
You
Fight
have
to
to
the
you have
death.
to put the names together and then close your eyes and pull one out of the hat.
That's okay. Okay. Well, best
Something
table,
like that.
best table topics is Aaron.
Oh,
Thank
Good
you.
job,
Thank
Aaron.
you. Thank you.
Who was the
And
close?
then, yes,
I said, who was the close second?
yeah.
it was me.
Clever. Oh,
Yay, okay.
Wow.
Yay, okay. There we go. There we
that's
go.
honesty if I've ever seen it.
Mhm.
All right.
If I was Carmen, I'd just be like, yeah, it's me.
I think you got extra credit for the dog. That's why.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can cut this out.
Yeah.
Cut for you, also for me. All right, so now I'm just gonna pass over Aaron, our president.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I can finish my general evaluation
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
real quick. I apologize, Jean, for
No,
We're
we
cutting
know.
off.
We know.
Jean. Something that Jean did that I really like when table topics evaluators do is she gave the speaker's name, the question that they were given, and a
Alas.
Poor guy.
Gene, you have that effect on people.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna have to get this from him later, I think. I mean, you all were there, so you know what happened, but Corey, he's been having this issue and he thought he had it fixed and now it's back. So he's trying to get off of the service he's on and get something else. Because he's an engineer, I mean, they expect good quality tech. So.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, and Aaron's our president, so we can't have any, he's not here to do closing comments.
Well, you're VP of Ed. You have any closing comments?
Oof.
Do I have any upcoming events?
Oh, one thing I want to say, because I saw Bob sort of doing his hands. I want to mention, because I was looking at a couple of our old meetings, and I saw some people, it looked like for table topics, for example, they were raising their hand, but it was so little that they weren't getting called on. So I'm just going to say, when you're wanting to do table topics or when you're raising your hand, make sure it's up there, because it's a little hard to not see it sometimes. I mean, it's a little hard to see it sometimes. All right, Aaron bought you some time. Speak fast.
All right. What Jean does well that I like in table topics evaluators, that she gave us the name of the speaker, their topic, and the question, and a summary of their response as well. Kind of puts us in the frame of mind for each of the speakers. She gave a suggestion for everyone. Art was a little iffy. I think it was something about hand gestures, but I think she was kind of iffy on whether or not to give that suggestion for art. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to say it can be very difficult, but make sure that we have a concrete suggestion for everyone. Something else that I think is more of a general comment. This is something that I notice. A lot of people have their notes down here, and so people are constantly doing this. And I've actually gotten in the habit of typing my notes. So then I don't know if people notice that maybe my gaze shifts a little bit down to my notes, but my face doesn't move around so much. Or if you guys do still like to do handwritten notes, maybe prop your notes up on a stand or something so that you can look at them off the corner of your screen. I think that would be a little better than constantly looking up and down. I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like I would get lost if I keep looking away from my notes, like, oh shoot, where was I? Just something for people to consider, and something I noticed in Jean. And Jean did a great job. She gave specifics when she was giving feedback to each person. She explained why the aspect that she was praising was doing positive contributions towards their speech, or why that suggestion that she gave could help them improve their speech, giving reasoning besides just the praise or the improvement, giving how it can help them. That's my report. Thank you. Jean has a question.
I'm just going to mention that's a really good observation about this head bobbing. And because my computer, if you have a laptop that you have up on a stand, you can, and you're trying to read, I just put my notes up on the keyboard, up on the laptop. And I think I can just move my eyes, and it's, I won't have to move my head so much.
What you're doing there is a lot better.
Yeah, like just my eyes kind of. So that's very useful.
I mean, I think it's unavoidable that your eyes will shift towards your notes, but if you don't have to physically move your head around it, it's a little less distracting.
Right. Good.
Now I'll take over again as president. I've got a couple notes here. We're running short on time, so I'll try to be quick. International Convention, August 29th, so a little over a month away. It will be virtual, which means that, and it's free to attend, so if you are free to do so, I recommend that everyone attends to watch the international speech competition, watch all of the great, like, I don't know, webinars that people would give on different topics related to speaking. I mean, this is the international convention. So this is like the creme de la creme of Toastmasters. There's the club level, the district level, and then there's the international level. So recommends, and maybe we could even have like a watch party or something. I don't know. Maybe the district will set something like that up, or I don't know. Something to think about. First Fridays, I think I mentioned last week that I had talked with them. I think we had talked about doing a Facebook Live video. They had actually recommended that we do pre-recorded stuff. They thought maybe like if people, they said something that's maybe 2 to 4 minutes, something more bite-sized, so that people lose attention quite quickly. So maybe not posting an entire meeting, or maybe someone talks about why they decided to join Toastmasters, or how Toastmasters has improved them as a leader and a speaker. Different things like that we can do to promote our club through First Fridays. I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's cutting it a little too close to do something for this one at the beginning of August, but maybe something at the beginning of September that we could do. Or if someone is feeling really ambitious, we can try to get at least one video out for August. Does that sound like something that anybody is like, oh, I really want to do that? Do like a video talking about your Toastmasters experience? Jean?
I just wanted to say, I think it sounds like a pretty easy thing. And September, actually, I mean, people are usually on vacation in August, of course, with the pandemic. maybe everybody's not, but if like having a montage of little, little snippets, it's just sort of real life people talking. I mean, we are real life people talking about, and we would have some, make just a short little thing. Maybe it's 30 seconds, and people, and I think that's what people would relate to. And we could have it'd be our Zoom thing. If someone could be on speaker, Dan could record it. We could just, have it ready to go. I think it sounds,
Mhm.
and they just run it. And so it's all recorded. We only have to do it the one time. And, I think it's good.
Yeah. If you guys go on the First Fridays Facebook page, that's where they post all their stuff, and they have a ton of posts of stuff. That's sort of what they've been doing since the whole in-person First Friday stuff can't happen.
Mhm.
So they've been just putting a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook, and they said that they'd love to have stuff from Toastmasters on there. Gives a nice variety to the content and shows different aspects of the community. It'd be a great marketing tool for us.
Mhm.
So just something to think about.
Could we discuss this in some detail at the officers meeting? I guess we'll have
Sure.
August
Yeah,
4th is
that would
two weeks
yes.
away. Maybe we could exchange some ideas by email before then.
Sure. Oh, Corey, you're leaving?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
got,
gotta work at 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, we really appreciate you
thank you
coming,
so much.
joining our meeting, Corey.
Thanks.
Yes,
Good seeing you.
thank you.
for the opportunity.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
All
for all
right.
the feedback, Rick. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
Corey. We'll be
Thank
in
you, Corey.
touch. Bye.
Bye. And then one final quick thing, also as VP of PR, I talked with the Classic 96 KMCD radio station, and they have a little blurb about us that I've given them that they will be promoting on the air as they can. I think maybe on a weekly basis they would just talk about the different events going on in the community. They'd mention our weekly Zoom meetings, and I gave them contact information. They could reach us by Facebook or calling Jean. And Jean, I guess I should have asked, are you still fine being the point of contact?
Yeah, and my number's out there. It's hard to get rid of, I think.
Yeah, that's why I should have asked, but I just gave it to him because I figured when you search Golden Speakers Toastmasters, your number pops up all over the place.
I know. I get people selling me stuff. It's crazy.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's all I got, unless anyone has anything else.
We are at time.
Yeah, we're 6 minutes over time.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say on Carmen's speech, I like her quote, "It's better to do something than stay in fear." I wrote that down. I'm going to use that. That was great, Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bob. I didn't even think about it. It was too great. I just said it.
Yeah, it was very
Sometimes
good.
those spur of the moment, off the cuff speeches are sometimes where you get some of the best material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was thinking
It's
about
real.
Corey and Jean's involvement with conscious communicators. The two of them are involved and the men are committed.
Art, that
Oh,
was perfect.
That was one of those, it took me a second to get.
I couldn't figure out how to work that into my answer on the table topics, but I wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, Aaron, you want to gavel us out at least,
Yeah.
maybe just, and then we can stay if we want, but people that need to peel off can feel like they can do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for another successful meeting. I think that about wraps it up. Thank
Thanks,
you, everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Let's stick around if you'd like.